Welcome to GKN Aerospace. We're currently at our Technology Centre here in Bristol. I'm Maddie, I'm a third year degree apprentice here. I'm currently in the analysis department, making sure parts don't break under too much pressure. At the GDC there's tons of different teams, anything from hydrogen engines and robots. There's so many possibilities, so let's meet some of the team.
So I never really planned on going into engineering, I kind of fell into it. I just realised that I was good at maths and physics at school, and I continued doing those through GCSEs and A-levels, and then after you've done maths and physics, an engineering degree just kind of fit nicely. I just followed what I've enjoyed, and that's taken me to engineering.
I was a very curious child and I would always ask, but why this and why does this do that? And I think I kind of annoyed my parents. And I was really interested in studying maths and physics. And so, yeah, those were kind of all passions and things that I felt quite good and confident in doing. And then fast forward to a point in school and we were looking for work experience placements, and I was fortunate enough to have a placement at GE Caledonian back in Scotland, and I totally fell in love with engineering. I had a week's placement and I did rotations of all of the different departments, and on my Friday, my final day, I was with the test team and was metaphorically blown away when they were testing one of their engines. I was harnessed in and strapped in, following all health and safety, and they ran one of their Gen X engines, and I just was totally enamoured with it, and I thought, how do I make this happen? How do I get to become someone involved in testing or in engineering? And so yeah, that kind of solidified my passion, and then it was to figure out how best to go about becoming an engineer. So I then started to apply for different universities, and I got accepted at the University of Glasgow to study aeronautical engineering. And I always kind of knew from my work experience that propulsion systems and engines were a real passion of mine. But then I also wanted to explore sustainability. And so I was introduced to Engineers Without Borders UK, and it just married both ideas together, propulsion and engines and sustainability. And so that was my kind of next step and next kind of challenge, was to explore how do I go about marrying the two together. And then in my final year, I was given an opportunity to do a master's project at GKN Aerospace. And I was looking at future fuel cell technology, so that was the propulsion systems, but it was also sustainability, and I thought I'd want to watch. It was a great opportunity, and then I went back to the University of Glasgow, thankfully got my master's, and then was offered a job and came back to GKN. So that's a long-winded way and journey of how I got to becoming an engineer.
I got into GKN because when I was growing up in secondary, I did engineering as my GCSE and I really enjoyed it. I like knowing how things are made and also making things myself. I think it's really cool how you can literally have any design and you can make it with anything doing engineering. I did work experience here in year 10 and I really enjoyed it. Everyone was really friendly, and it's just really interesting about this company and everything they do and all like the different roles that you can be. So that's why I joined. After I did my GCSEs, I applied to GKN and I got in, and I am very happy because I think this is a good career path to go down.
I got into, the way I got into engineering, it was a journey because I always knew I liked problem solving. As I said, I like maths and science, but I never truly knew how to apply it until I looked into various different disciplines and I looked at what my granddad did previously as well. But I also always really liked planes and space travel. So I combined those two together and I decided to do aerospace engineering at university. And that is how I became an engineer.
I got into engineering by doing a degree apprenticeship. So if you don't know, that's 4 years of studying and working at the same time. You get a chance to go to lots of different engineering business areas and see what you like. So you can go to design engineering or stress engineering, and I ended up in the hydrogen systems team, doing what I do now, which is building the tests.
So my favorite subject in school was physics and maths. So that's mainly why I chose engineering as a career.
I was a maths kid. For some reason, the problem solving was the thing I liked the most, as well as sort of working in groups to solve problems. That was a big thing for me.
My favourite subject in school was chemistry because of the link between theoretical activities and practical proof work. In particular, I liked looking at all the different experiments we did at A levels, and I think this sort of practical experience was very useful in engineering.
Yeah, I would say there was probably two key people in my life. My papa was one. He was an electrician, and so him and I would do projects together, and I'd phone him up and discuss physics projects I'd been doing at school. We built an electric motored car, and so he actually helped me and taught me how to solder and desolder because it didn't go right first time. And so yeah, he was a real kind of figure for me to I suppose follow suit, and he encouraged my passion and my enthusiasm. Additionally, my maths teacher at school, she was a huge inspiration and a huge kind of driving force to let me know that I could do it, and I was able to and capable to become someone in STEM and then now an engineer. And so she entered me to Institute of Physics competitions, and as a school and as teams within the school, we actually won a couple, which was really exciting. But I think for me, it was her unwavering support that ensured and encouraged me to pursue my dreams.
My inspiration to become an engineer would probably be my family. A lot of them are civil engineers and mechanical, and I really enjoyed listening to their work, but I didn't really have too much of an interest in specific civil, so I decided to pursue aeronautical engineering instead.
The one person that inspired me to become an engineer was my granddad, as he was an engineering apprentice at my age himself. So later on in life, he would take me to his workshop, and we would do some woodworking together. So he would naturally push me to do some problem solving on my own while he was working on bigger things.
One hobby that I had before becoming a degree apprentice was 3D printing. So I learned how to use CAD. There's free CAD programs that you can install. So I learned how to use CAD, bought a really cheap 3D printer, just printed loads of things, and just showed that I was really interested in becoming an engineer. And I actually use that skill in my current work. For example, this is 3D printed.
Some hobbies that I have outside of work are that I like to work on cars. So I have a 1963 MG, and working on that has really helped me with my engineering degree, as it's a lot of hands-on technical work. A lot of engineering is maths and physics and equations, but having some hands-on experience is very important.
Part of my life right now is basketball. That's my hobby. I play for a team, and so working with other people to sort of get to that goal of winning games, having fun with that, translates perfectly to engineering. I think all of engineering is about teamwork and everyone having their own expertise of information, so being able to share and collaborate together is what engineering is all about.
A lot of the challenges I face is when something doesn't go right. A lot of my time I spend modelling what's going to happen when I'm getting things cold, and then I go and test it in the real world and something completely different will happen. I then have to go back, figure out what's going on and how to fix the problems that arises.
Oh, that's a good question. I would say probably the demand for different tasks and different deliverables and deadlines. So for me, it's learning to prioritise and move certain deliverables around, but also ensuring that I'm not dropping the ball with everything else. So it's kind of juggling a lot of balls or kind of balancing a lot of plates. But I think that's probably a crucial area that's maybe more of a challenge, and I think it will come with time and experience to develop. I also think, I suppose, integrating within the team. So I was fortunate that during my internship, I was in the same team that I'm in now, but there's also kind of cross collaboration between projects and teams, and so it's learning to meet new people and work with new people who have different learning styles and ways of work. So I think that's maybe another challenge too.
Challenges that I face in my job tend to be mostly problem solving. Sometimes you don't know the solution to what you are solving at the moment, so sometimes you have to collaborate with other people. Sometimes you need a bit of time or a sleep to think about it, but in the end you can solve the problem.
There's so much to choose from. I think for me, I'm almost achieving my dreams of pursuing sustainable engineering and engineering for people and the planet. With propulsion systems and looking at fuel cell power generations, it's really exciting. But not only that, I think the people that I work with, they are so inspirational and so talented, and I'm learning tons given my short space of time within engineering. And I think they allow me to grow, they challenge me, but they equally support me in those challenges, and I think it's allowing me to thrive in this environment.
My favourite part about my job, it's actually difficult to choose just one favourite part about my job. There's two sides to it. One of them is that we are working on aircraft parts that we will find out there in the real world. Every time you go on holiday, you probably have been on an aircraft that was made here in Bristol. Another favourite part of my job is that I get to problem solve, getting to investigate a problem and then come up with a solution. It's like seeing two puzzle pieces come together, and it's very satisfying.
My favourite job is the variety. I really enjoy doing models, but then having the chance to go and validate them in the lab and check that what I'm doing is right, and the iterative process of going through, really, I find it really fulfilling.
In aerospace, there's different opportunities that you can go to because there are sites all around the world. You can go anywhere like Mexico, America, the Netherlands. There's sites everywhere.
So there's a lot of travel opportunities being an engineer. You get to travel to different sites and see different suppliers that you're working with. You also get to go to different seminars and training courses where you can learn new skills that you'll be able to use in your engineering job.
There are many good travel opportunities in engineering. GKN is a multinational corporation. It's in 12 different countries, and you can easily swap between the business and travel to different sites across the world.
So if there's anyone that wants to become an engineer, I'd say obviously try hard at school, get your good grades, but possibly more importantly, make sure you're showing that passion, make sure you have interests outside of school.
My advice for any aspiring engineers is just take every opportunity that comes by, and if you love something, just do it.
Honestly, just do what you enjoy. There's so many different branches of engineering out there that there's always going to be something for you that you find interesting. You just got to find what that is and stick with it.
Do it, do it anyway. And also, maybe it's cliche, ask loads of questions and don't be afraid to fail. I think that's something that I'm still dealing with and learning, but my chemistry teacher at school kind of explained failing or a failure as a first attempt in learning, and that always stuck with me, that not everything's going to go right the first time, and it's about more how you persevere to get to the end goal, ask lots of questions along the way, and I think you'll learn more for the things that maybe don't go your way first time than if they go right the first time. And yeah, I think it's something that it's character building as well, but yeah, do it, why not?
So as an engineer, you get lots of opportunities to change the world for the better. But what would you do if you had the opportunity? Make sure to get your submissions in now.
How would you make the world a better place if you were an engineer?
Imagination is a huge part of engineering, so if you're an engineer, what would you do? Submit your ideas now.
We look forward to receiving your submissions to the competition.